Happy Sabbath, beloved. In part 1, we looked at the woman and found out that she was God's church. We saw that she was about to give birth and that the dragon was waiting there for the child to be born. So let's begin part 2. We will begin with the continuation of Revelation chapter 12, and we will look at verses 4 through 6. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and it cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her 1,260 days. So how did the dragon draw a third part of the stars from heaven with his tail? In order to know this, we need to know what a tail represents, right? Let's look at the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 15. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. So the tail is someone that teaches lies. So he drew a third part of the stars with deceit. Friends, what other tactic would the dragon use? Now, I said in part 1 that stars could represent something else, and now we are about to see what these stars represent. This is what the book of Revelation chapter 1 and verse 20 has to say. The mystery of the 7 stars which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks, the 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. So the third part of the stars that the dragon drew with his tail are indeed angels. Did Satan not deceive a third part of God's angels? These angels have never even heard a lie before. How much more deceptive is he now? But now look, he is waiting for this child to be born so he can devour him. Let's look at the book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth, and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Look at that. Satan tried to use Herod, who was appointed king of the Jews by the Romans, to try to kill Jesus after he was born. And if there is any doubt that this child is Christ, then notice that he will rule all nations with a rod of iron, and he will be caught up to the throne of God. Let's read the book of Revelation chapter 19 and verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And then go to chapter 3 and verse 21. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. So from these two scriptures, we know without a shadow of a doubt that this child is indeed Jesus Christ. After Christ's ascension, Satan persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Through pagan Rome, Satan attempted to exterminate the church, but she survived. The power of pagan Rome, which had withheld the rise of that wicked, was eventually taken out of the way. And the man of sin was revealed, taking God's place as Lord over the church, according to the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. This apostate organization Papal Rome continued to persecute the true church, causing her to flee into the wilderness areas of Europe. There, for over 1,000 years, faithful saints such as the Waldenses maintained the ancient faith, and this is known as the Dark Ages. Now in part 3, we will have a different scene before us. So until next time, this is John Tinsley with Everlasting Rock Ministries, and always remember, the truth never fails. God bless you.